my people. Here we go, here we go. What's happening? How are you? Hi, good to see you. 1 second, let me shut my door in case we get a storm of cats coming in. It could possibly be happening. I'm gonna try and get through the show without too much dry heaving. I'm even gonna try to do it standing up. Wish me luck. Hi, chat room. Gather in. Come on, settle in. I've missed you guys too. You know, they say laughter is the best medicine. And those people have probably said that before the invention of penicillin, but still, it's certainly helpful. I have a history of two things when I'm crawling out of a sickness that really get me through it. Well, the primary one is like while it's going on, as much comedy as possible. And then when I'm getting out of it, then it's like Rocky movies, that kind of stuff. Things that make you want to just get out of bed no matter how much it hurts and do a push-up. That kind of stuff. So that's where I am. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe. Give a thumbs up. Support the show. I'm really behind on that because I've been under the weather. I want to say thanks, boss, for giving me a couple of days off. I understand for the large, for most parts, they were unpaid days off. I get it. But, I appreciate, any help that can come. In terms of super chats, stars, bits, subscriptions, memberships, do what you can. Patreon.com/HalSparks. Anything to help the show. And also, we hit, while I was under the weather, 45,000 subscribers on YouTube. Ladies and gentlemen, now, the biggest, jump forward has to happen right now because thanks to Trump and Colt and guns, I don't like the number 45 all that much anymore. So let's move straight past it to 46, shall we? Just get right out of here. So we can stick around in 46 for a while. I don't have a problem with that. I'm quite happy with how 46 is doing, if I do say so my damn self. Okay. I even gave myself a cough button right down here. I built one just in case, so I don't have to tap the mic every time. And then I just remembered it was there. Hi, my brain is foggy. But, we got to have some fun. We got to have some fun in the middle of all this stuff. Because, and I can't find this whole interview. God damn it. Where in the crap Aaron Rupar has a chunk of it, and this chunk's everywhere. But maybe they haven't aired it yet. Maybe this was a clip that they were like, from our upcoming interview with, Christina Bobb interviews him, his former attorney. I intentionally didn't watch it because I believe in my healing properties and that I would eventually get healthy again. So, did I bring a box of Kleenex? No, because I have a bathroom right there with toilet paper in it. So I will just go there if I need that. Yeah. I'm just saying. I'm the one that's sick and dude looks like shit. Okay, I want to see this. Thank you. Oh, we got a hype train right out of the gate. Thank you guys so much. Like I said, super chat away helped me make up for the missing 2 days while I was under the weather. Jess F and Peachy, are you suggesting honey or are you calling me that? I don't mind either way. Level 3 hype train starting up on Twitch, twitch.tv/HalSparks. Here we go. Let's do this.
Select committee. They're looking at everything other than two things. They don't.
So, first of all, is it creepy that I feel like that painting of him is making a move on Christina Bobb? See it? It's just like aiming right at her mouth. Did he pick the framing or something? It's just weird.
Don't want to know about Nancy Pelosi turning down 10,000 soldiers because she doesn't like the look. Now,
also, again, this is what I would call Trump's dumbest excuse for January 6th, which is that Nancy Pelosi should have known that maggots are psychotic and would attack police officers. How could she not know that his supporters are complete assholes and are violent revolutionary nutcases?
If you had 10,000 soldiers...
If he had 10,000 soldiers, he could have invoked the martial law and the Insurrection Act and insisted that they hold the Capitol and separate the Congress and use those soldiers to do it. That's what he thought.
For, hundreds of people, they wouldn't have gotten anywhere near the place. It wouldn't
Okay, first of all, there weren't hundreds of people, fucko.
have been. There would have.
There were hundreds and 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 hundreds of people. But you can't just back it down to, they're like, for tens of people. Yeah, well, anything can subdivide for a couple of people. Yes, you could subdivide the entire thing down into pairs.
Been no January 6th. There wouldn't have been a January 6th.
That might be the problem.
Oh, no. Well, there are a lot of people that think they wanted it, but.
Yeah, okay, by the way, there's a lot of people that think they wanted it. This is a conspiracy theory idea that that the attack on January 6th helped to solidify Biden's win, that they were, if they'd have been able to go through all the evidence and whatever that Ted Cruz and those guys were bringing, they would have, it would have proven that they should have done the election over again or some shit. So it's now their fault that they instigated it, because that was how they, could stop the truth from coming out. That's where he gets this, by the way. This is standard QAnon horseshit.
If you had soldiers circling, and I recommended it strongly, but it's her decision.
And by the way, recommending it strongly is fucking ridiculous. He literally told no one outside the White House, outside the Oval Office. He didn't call her on the phone. He didn't talk to her. I don't know what the fuck he means, recommended it strongly. I don't know where he even gets that from.
She's the one that has to make the decision. And nobody likes talking about that. But we recommended, because I knew that a lot of people were coming down. They were coming down because they thought the election was rigged. And they were right.
Yeah.
And they thought that someone would tell them to walk down there peacefully and patriotically, but they're going to have to fight if they wanted to keep their country and stuff. And they were right. And
but that's why they were coming down. And
so they weren't Antifa. Okay, good. So Ray Epps, I guess you're off the hook now. Trump is saying that the people that attacked the Capitol unequivocally, this is nice, this is progress, right? Trump is literally saying, that's it. That's the fucking, they came down there to fight for me.
And that's why they don't want to talk about that. And they don't want to talk about the rigged election. All they want to talk about is the people. And those people are being treated, many of them are being treated unbelievably unfairly.
The cops they beat, were they being treated fairly? This is just fucking stupid.
Compare that to what happened in the riots where Black Lives Matter and Antifa killed people. They killed people. They burned down.
All right. That's a clip from that thing. This is always going to be the comparison. I got news for you, asshole. The seat of our democracy is not in a fucking Target or in a shoe shop or in a Starbucks in fucking Portland. Rip Portland. So sad. Portland. We hardly knew you.
Select committee. They're looking at everything.
And by the way, this is just ongoing horseshit. I'm hoping we will find the entirety of this thing, but I don't know when. So at some point, I will go through the entire thing, because it seems to be one of his most unhinged yet. Now, like I said, as I'm healing from this gunk, I needed a good solid laugh, kids. I needed something. You guys know I'm a big Mike Myers fan. Maybe you don't. For all the controversy and shit that he's had over the years, I just want to say, Mike, if you need a friend, I'm here for you, buddy. Anyways, Mike, and if you haven't watched The Pentaverate, I highly recommend it. He had a few really solid sketches back in the day, that on SNL that had some legs, not just Wayne's World, but if you'll recall, Sprockets. Do you guys remember Sprockets? His sort of German fetish bar talk show thing. It's like leftover groundling shit, because they were always turned into a talk show. That's where they simplify things. It's where SNL writing annoys me. That's the Groundlings influence. The Groundlings takes really talented comedic performers and teaches them to sit down and do waiter sketches. But I don't know why I couldn't get sprockets out of my head when this. Oh shit! I'm just saying. Glenn had either a Halloween party where he's going as a Silicon Valley executive addicted to. Hold on a second. A Silicon Valley executive addicted to Sonic, or just, trying to look like a villain in a Lethal Weapon offshoot. Hold on, hi guys, thank you so much. By the way, Portland. Yes, it's so sad. Portland is gone. All right, I got to catch my thing out. You'll touch my monkey, and now is the part in Sprockets where we dance. Yes. Yes, that is not a Q-tip in front of him. That is a Dove bar with the chocolate licked off. And yeah. Pardon me, by the way, I am still recovering. Yes, So I Married an Axe Murderer, really underappreciated, I agree. And is the seed of the Pentaveret. If you know, that's in the same universe. Because his father tells the story of the Pentaveret to his buddy. And so the series that exists in that world exists in the same space as the So I Married an Axe Murderer thing. So Amanda Plummer is in the MCU. That's all I'm saying. So yeah, he's going as Mr. Joshua. No, that's John Paul McIsaac's bad guy. So here we go. This is this is very telling for a bunch of reasons. Why Hunter Biden's second laptop, Twitter, and Soros all relate. Okay, first of all, why is he saying second laptop? Because there is a laptop that Hunter Biden actually owns, that's actually his, that he turned over as evidence in the tax case that he is going through right now. It's an actual one of his own that he gave to the government that went straight from him and his lawyers to the government as evidence, and then he I guess, presumably got it back when they were done copying it or whatever the fuck. That actually exists. So I would argue that is not the second laptop. That is an actual laptop. The other one of which he speaks, which is supposed to be the first one, is non-existent. Also, but they all tie together. And if we ever want to find somebody who can lace together, the lunatic fringe, it's Glenn Beck.
Few of these together because I want you to see how corrupt our government is now.
Okay, how corrupt this is. You're going to know how corrupt our government is because of George Soros, who is not an American, Twitter, which is a private organization, and Hunter Biden's second laptop, which is really the first laptop, but is actually being used as evidence in a regular tax case.
Strangely timed DEA raid, whistleblower claims, and other red flags raise new questions about...
By the way, I know I'm sick and I sound like shit, but how many times has he sounded like this in the last, 6 months? Fuck, man, does he ever clear this shit out? I think he's allergic to stew.
About Hunter Biden and his family affairs. Now listen to this.
Oops, hold on. Check. There we go. Run that by me again, stupid.
Whistleblower claims and other red flags raise new questions about Hunter Biden and his family affairs. Now listen to this. 2 months after the FBI subpoenaed the laptop Hunter Biden had abandoned at the Delaware computer repair shop.
Allegedly bullshit.
Subpoenaed the laptop Hunter Biden had abandoned at the Delaware computer repair shop. The DEA searched the office of Hunter's one-time psychiatrist, Keith.
Oh, it's this. Oh, okay, so look at this. We're returning back to Rudy Giuliani's first story. This is the Keith Ablow story. This is the other laptop that existed there. They were attempting to put this in, that he had left it in his psychiatrist's hands, and that as somebody at Fox, he was going to hand it over. And then Keith Ablow got busted for drugging and fucking his patients.
Ablow, and seized a second laptop Hunter had left with him.
No, an actual laptop that physically, by the way, Hunter claimed but did not ever remember leaving there. So the feds said, we found this at his place. It says it's yours on it. we don't have a right to take it because you're not the case he is, but we don't know why he had your laptop. They gave it back to him.
The timing of the DEA raid and the fact that criminal charges were never filed against Ablow, coupled with the whistleblower's claims that the FBI buried evidence against Hunter Biden, raises questions of whether the search was a pretext just to recover Hunter's laptop and protect the Biden family.
Yes, by the way, again, this is still an alleged laptop. Because remember when this story initially came out, there was like this whole thing where like, why would I leave my laptop at that fucking guy's place? And they're like, it's yours. And he went, okay, and took it back.
So Ablow he had lost his license the year before.
Yeah, why? Why did he lose his license a year earlier?
On a drug thing.
It was just a drug thing. It was drugs. He was smoking a bit of the reefer, was he?
He had written an improper prescription or something.
Oh, yeah, that was it. Sorry, my bad. He had written an improper prescription. Okay, hold on one second. Keith Ablow. Tell me what it takes to let you go. All right, so Keith Ablow was a popular fixture on the cable channel until 2017 and a high-profile therapist. He left a trail of vulnerable female patients who claim he abused them. He abused them, obviously, with poorly written prescriptions. Late in 2009, a 28-year-old woman, not long out of graduate school, found herself in a stressful job at a Bronx hospital and decided to be useful to talk to someone. Searching online, she came across the name of a psychiatrist, Keith Ablow. Dr. Ablow was familiar to her from his writing, both his journalism and his best-selling thrillers. He turned out Denial, Projection, Compulsion, Murder, Suicide. She had read all those, as well as Psychopath, a book about psychiatrists who prods the interior lives of strangers, only to kill them. Yeah. The woman, who was asked to be identified only by her confirmation name, Monique, found Dr. Ablow just as his media star was rising. That year, Roger Ailes hired him as a regular contributor on Fox News, where he remained until 2017, speculating about the mental states of political figures and presiding over viewer segments like Normal or Nuts. Dr. Ablow offered counseling in a conventional sense, but he also conducted life coaching via email. Monica engaged with him this way at first, but after she answered various questions about her past, mentioning adolescent bouts of depression, she agreed to see Dr. Ablow in person. His busy schedule meant that she would have to go to his primary office in Newburyport, Massachusetts, which is just way more parts. Newburyport, Massachusetts is a lot of it's a lot of syllables for no reason. All right. He was impressive to her, and so Monique made the 5-hour trip for her first visit. They had barbecue. No, I'm kidding. Over the next year and a half, she saw Dr. Ablow 2 or 3 times a week at a reduced rate of $350 an hour. The fuck? During this time, she found herself coming unwound. Her anxiety about work did not recede. On the contrary, she felt increasingly addled. She began cutting herself, something she hadn't done in years. Came to believe that Dr. Ablow had not only failed to help her, he left her more damaged than she already was. For his part, Ablow would maintain that whatever boundaries she thought he violated, the frequent texts and emails, the intimate revelations about his own life, were in the service of her treatment, well within the standards of sound psychiatric care. As Monique would discover, it would take years and several other patients coming forward with their own stories of manipulation for Dr. Ablow's transgression to be taken seriously. Let's see. By the time she left his care. Her new marriage had fallen apart. She developed a dependency on Valium, Xanax, and Adderall. She also said she had drained her savings of $30,000 to pay for the treatment. Again, Jesus fucking Christ. Most alarming, she became obsessively, insidiously reliant on Ablow's affirmation. On unusually hot in a coffee shop just north of the city, recounted how she had come under Dr. Ablow's thrall. When she finally disentangled, she filed a complaint with the disciplinary board in New York that oversees psychiatrists, a body that works secretly and can take years to respond to charges. In this case, when it finally completed its initial review, it found no reason to sanction him. Okay. And then on, and this on May 15th, Ablow's license was suspended in Massachusetts after investigators determined that his continued practice was a threat to the health, safety, and welfare of the public. He is appealing the ruling. This article is based on the Monique and others, including her current therapist, as well as legal and medical documents obtained by the Times. Dr. Ablow did not respond to attempts to speak with him directly, but his lawyer, Paul Searle, issued a statement on his behalf, writing in an email that his client did not breach the ethical confidentiality standards of the profession. Comment further, earlier this year, he referred to the claims Monique made in her legal complaint as groundless. It's starting to sound like Dershowitz. He has categorically denied all allegations. If he says outrageous, by the way. From the outset, Monique, blah, blah, blah. Money was an ongoing problem for her, and one other thing, Many months later, during a disagreement on something relatively minor, she said Dr. Ablow suggested that he might have to hospitalize her. Hospitalizing a distraught psychiatric patient is not an unreasonable course in certain circumstances. I couldn't trust him with that at all. He was a graduate Brown. He hoped to become an ophthalmologist, blah, blah, blah. In November that year, Miss Lott received a circumspect email from a young woman who read her book and had questions about Dr. Ablow's involvement. It was Monique. She was wondering what Dr. Ablow was doing in a book about boundaries. She had no axe to grind, Miss Lott recalled, other than trying to make sense out of what happened. 2 years earlier, Monique had outlined all of her allegations against Ablow in a lengthy complaint she made with New York State's Office of Professional Medical Conduct. In these documents, she claimed Ablow had crossed multiple boundaries, overwhelming her with details about himself, that he had been attracted to his children's babysitters, for instance, and that his marriage was unfulfilling. He asked her to coffee frequently, encouraged her to move in with a female friend of his in Manhattan when Monique separated from her husband, only to later tell her that the roommate he recommended was nuts. He mentioned to Monique that he wanted to send a former all-star running back from the New York Giants to her as a patient. He also suggested that she date him. That's the Ablow Center in Newburyport, Mass., which is basically his house. Red flag, by the way. Should I stay in New York? 6 months, blah, blah, blah. For several years, Monique waited to hear something in the conduct's office, and nothing happened. Where he addressed them and claimed to be the target of cancel culture, a male, a public person, and a Trump supporter, Dr. Ablow said in the interview. So am I surprised? Yeah, but shocked? No. In his rebuttal to the Massachusetts board, Ablow said that one of his accusers had a history of falsely accusing men of sexual misbehavior, and she had essentially confused what happened between them, the actions of recurring characters in his novels. Yeah, so. Just, he messed up a couple of things. Hold on one second. There is a, let's see, yeah, and then this is later. Here you go. This is March 9th. Boink. This is newer. Another former patient files suit against Keith Ablow. A New Hampshire woman who says she was treated by Dr. Keith Ablow for nearly a decade has now filed a malpractice lawsuit against him. The Londonderry, New Hampshire resident alleges that during the time of her treatment, he engaged in numerous boundary violations, including those of a sexual nature. This is all the stuff that was leading up to this. But, it's my bad. He just misfilled out a prescription.
And so a year before they do the investigation, he loses his license. A year later, when he's not allowed to write prescriptions or anything, the DEA comes in. The DEA comes in, bust open all of his files and everything else, and take the laptop from him. Now, why would you take...
By the way, they didn't just take the laptop. They took all of his electronic devices. The laptop that was included in this, that was allegedly Hunter Biden's, was part of several other devices. They just weren't his. So there were things he had. There was, like another patient's phone, shit like that he had that didn't belong to him. So the FBI can't return those things to you when they're not yours to possess in the first place.
Take the Hunter Biden laptop. Why would you? Well, the Drug Enforcement Agency? What does that have to do with anything?
Because they took all of his electronic devices, you fucking tool.
Took the laptop, left, and then never said anything to Ablow again. The Hunter Biden laptop was then returned to Hunter Biden.
Right, because if you find items in seizure at someone else's house when you're investigating them, you don't return them to the person that had them. You return them to the person that owns them. You're an idiot.
Now, in a Weekend article,
What do you mean now? Wait, hold on. You don't get to move on from that, you fucking tool. Stu, you're supposed to chime in, dipshit, and go, well, they can't return it back to him. It's not his. They found him in possession of a laptop with a bunch of the shit on it, and they can't give it back to him. They give it to Hunter Biden. He's like, I don't remember losing a laptop at this guy's house, but thank you very much.
Titled Some Hunter Biden Allies Making Plans to Go After His Accusers, the Washington Post reported that Hunter Biden and his closest advisors are plotting an offensive for when Republicans assume control of the House.
Which, by the way, would be a sign of strength if Trump did it, but since Hunter Biden's doing it, it's a sign of desperation.
The strategy sessions were to fight an expected onslaught of investigations by House Republicans. It was happening at the home of Hunter Biden's friend and lawyer, Kevin Morris. If you remember who Kevin Morris is.
I know who he isn't. He isn't Keith Ablow. But anyways, go on.
He is he's famous for being the lawyer to the stars. He is the...
Dude is the son of the sitting president. We're surprised he'd have a top-notch lawyer, especially if he's planning to go on the attack.
The attorney for the co-creators of South Park. He also gained...
Oh, big lefties.
The only reason why I know him is because he footed the Hunter Biden overdue taxes totaling $2 million and just said, I don't have anything to do with Hunter. I just like him. And I just think this is wrong. Really? You don't want to kick in on my taxes?
Really nice.
Yeah, but in that guy's defense, Glenn, no one likes you. I was about to say not even Stu, especially Stu.
Really nice.
Nice perk if you can find a friend like that.
Now, David Brock.
But you just got to rub it in like that, Stu. You just got to rub it in that Glenn will never find a friend like that. We know, okay? Ouch.
Also a liberal activist, David Brock. Who's David Brock, Stu?
David Brock. He was the guy who started Media Matters, I believe.
Oh, Media Matters.
Yeah.
Okay.
Big Clinton associate. I will say that Hillary Clinton also said that she started Media Matters, so I guess they worked together to do it.
Along with George Soros. Anyway, so Morris and David.
Well, I mean, he's included in anything. Do you even have to say his name? Isn't he just a silent partner in everything you hate, I guess?
David Brock joined a strategy session at the lawyer's house. Biden called into the meeting. The Washington Post.
Hunter, you mean?
Post reports that Morris suggested it was crucial for Hunter Biden's camp to be more aggressive. The defamation lawsuits the team could pursue against the Sun's critics, including Fox News, Eric Trump, Rudy Giuliani, outlined extensive research on two potential witnesses against Hunter Biden, a spurned business partner, Tony Bobulinski, and
right, the guy who was actually shopping the influence,
computer repairman named John Paul Mac Isaac. So they're going to go after the computer repairman.
Well, I mean, they're going to question him under oath, I hope. They're going to depose him? Can we have that? Can we watch that? Is that video going to be available? Because fuck that guy. Again, he was in my small file of like hapless and, lightly involved dipshits, along with Mike Pillow initially, who also turned out to be a prick.
They feel there's a whole counter narrative missing because of the whole Hunter hater narrative that is out there, said Brock. So they got a SWAT team now, according to Brock, to ensure the media and public do not accept the false narratives that flows from congressional investigations. So David Brock started Media Matters. He started a new group, Facts First. And it's engaging Hunter Biden and those in his immediate circle. They're going to be reviewing research that Morris has conducted on Biden.
And watching all of my videos.
His adversaries. So it's a smear.
By the way, I'm glad for a nominal fee just to walk them through all of it. Because I know all this shit like far too well.
Campaign. According to the Washington Post, they are focused on whether the data claimed to be recovered from the laptop Hunter Biden's laptop that he abandoned at the computer repair store,
which he didn't,
was improperly obtained and distributed, with Hunter and his allies suggesting that the materials released on that laptop didn't originate from that laptop.
Right.
Instead, the information may have been improperly taken from a laptop Hunter left with Ablow, who the Post says is close to Republican activist Roger Stone.
Uh-huh.
And the Post reported that Morris has been overseeing forensic analysis of the laptop to discern.
By the way, I don't know where this, he's not even saying where this article is from, which is fucking irritating. You have all those screens. What are you reading? What is your source? Where are you getting this from? Put it up on the fucking screen so I can reference what the fuck you're talking about.
To determine if it was the basis of the hard drive.
It doesn't matter because he jumps around anyways.
So what they're alleging is he left this one at his psychiatrist's place. Ablow has said, I tried to get him to pick it up for over a year. He wouldn't pick it up.
It's weird. He didn't want to be seen at the Ablow Center and have somebody photograph him as a woman who would later file charges about being sexually manipulated by Keith Ablow was walking out at the same time. Yeah, I don't know why you wouldn't just hang out on the fucking porch.
He had it locked away in a safe. And
yeah, which is weird too.
Now they're saying, oh, we're looking at this laptop because we think that's the source of all of the material. The biggest problem with this is
that John Paul McIsaac is full of shit and couldn't pick Hunter Biden out of a lineup and has never, ever been able to even describe the FBI agents that came by.
That there are authentic videos and other material that is unique. So we know some of the stuff that is on the Delaware hard drive, the one everybody knows about, has authenticated things that are unique.
Dude, it has shit stolen from his phone. It has. We know those are that's actually a picture of him smoking a cigarette in the bathtub covering his nipples. Who gives a fuck? Yes, they got some of the stuff from real sources. Some of the shit is fake. They mix it all together and then they drop it off at a blind Mac repair shop owner's desk. Like, who's there? Yes, leave it for me. I'll get the fuck out of here. Of course some of it's real. That's how do you think deep fakes work, fucknut?
Unique on that laptop. So where did those come from? Because it's not a clone. It's not a clone.
What do you mean it's not a clone? It's a copy. Even the story is that there were 3 laptops. 2 of them didn't work. Well, one needed a keyboard, which he never charged Hunter for some reason. He just gave it to him. Off he went. I don't know what the fuck that was, right? He never even talked about it. The other one was garbage. They just threw it in the trash. The third one, he was trying to extract the files, and then it kept shutting down. So he could start it up, copy some stuff over, and then it would go out, and then it would come back up, and then he would copy it, and then he would take it out. And I don't know fucking why he didn't just fucking unscrew the hard drive that's in there, and then don't boot it, just extract it from there. It's just stupid. Like, I don't know what the fuck. Anyways, McIsaac copied what files he could from the third waterlogged laptop that he allegedly got. Because remember, there were 3 dropped off. He didn't just abandon a laptop, supposedly. He abandoned 3 in multiple states of disrepair. This is such garbage.
So
you're an idiot. So you're an idiot. This is it. This is yes, the FBI agents who warned him that he might get killed over this. The fuck out of here.
What is happening here, and this is the important part.
None of this is important. None of it. There's not a single thing important about any of this. I'm dead serious. It's even beyond the fact that there is no 10% for the big guy. There was an offer of doing that from Bobolinsky. There's not even emails where Hunter's like, yeah, we got to throw some to my pops. That shit doesn't even exist. They keep showing the same fucking stupid IMs over and over and over again. Supposedly gigabytes of data. And what do we got? Some gross photos of him in varying states of disrobe and in the presence of women allegedly that he paid for sex with. That's debatable, but whatever. None of my goddamn business. To each their own. They're adults. None of it ever panned out as far as Rudy. Remember when Rudy was going to drop off a copy of the hard drive at the Delaware State Police, which, by the way, if they got it from Rudy Giuliani, went, well, this will never go fucking anywhere. We can't try anybody from this. You're his political rival, and you dropped off. You've modified this one, fucko. It's had changes since you received it in your care. Like, this is useless. If we even fucking look at the fucking thing, it's fruit of the poison tree. This is so lame.
Is February 2020 the raid on Hunter's, one-time psychiatrist Keith Ablow received only a passing mention at the time with local.
By the way, if you'll notice, he jumbles the timeline. You notice this? He flip-flops the timeline part of it as far as Rudy's telling him, because remember, the laptop was allegedly dropped off in October of 2019. And all this, like, 90 days later, he had it, and he was supposed to pass it on to Rudy's attorney's friend and all that shit. He's been talking about this like the Ablow thing happened before, and now he's mentioned, like, he understands that nobody pays attention to the fucking timeline.
Local outlets that the DEA claimed the execution of the search warrant was part of an ongoing investigation, but they didn't reveal any investigation. All of the charges against.
Yeah, they don't have to. It's an investigation.
Ablow had already been dealt with a year before.
No, it had not. And the idea was after he'd lost his license, was he still continuing to give people prescriptions at the Ablow Center, you fucking tool?
So the question is, did the DEA, 9 months after Ablow was punished for everything.
9 months after Ablow was punished for everything, in the middle, so they waited 9 months after that to go there. Notice how he's fucking with the timeline.
Did they actually go to get the laptop and use this as cover?
For what? The other one had already been part of the storyline at that part. Why would it provide cover? By the way, Glenn is doing a very simpleton bait and switch right here, which is that he's making it look like they only took Hunter Biden's laptop. They came there, they made Keith Ablow open his safe, which contained Hunter Biden's laptop, and took that and left everything else. Which is just on its face fucking ridiculous. If he actually said those words out loud or made the direct insinuation, you just go, that's fucking dumb. They didn't, obviously, Fox would have been interviewing Ablow for months.
By the way, the DEA only executed the search warrant after the FBI issued a grand jury subpoena in 2019 to get the first Hunter Biden laptop.
Why are you smiling? Yeah, we know that's the order. Also, alleged Hunter Biden laptop. Again, the point they're trying to make is that those things had been in his possession for over a year. That Ablow had this thing right about the time Rudy Giuliani was flying to Ukraine to try and bring back some of this compromise. With the idea that he left it there, and Keith Ablow will just give it to people at Fox News.
So that seems a little odd.
No, it doesn't. You're a fucking tool. This is so stupid. I love the low res dinner theater murder she wrote bullshit part of this. This is so aggravating.
Now here's something else that's a little odd.
Okay, no, there's been nothing so far. You fucked around with the timeline. You're rotating stuff. You're pretending again. He's quoting from an article he's not even showing. So that's another thing. Yeah, there's 12,000 laptops. At this point there's 10,000. Hunter Biden owns Apple stock. Therefore, every Apple laptop is a Hunter Biden laptop.
Odd. Securities and Exchange Commission, the SEC, Gary Gensler, he took off all information about a meeting with Hillary Clinton and a meeting with George Soros from his calendar.
Okay.
In his private calendar, it shows a meeting with Clinton on August 20th, 2021. His public calendar lists.
By the way, none of these meetings were at Keith Ablow's house or before the 2020 election. Jesus Christ.
A meeting with.
Right, I'm Hunter Biden's laptop. That's right, Pukache. We are all Hunter Biden's laptop.
Soros, but hid the meeting's agenda. The private calendar shows that it was about a Wall Street Journal op-ed that Soros was going to make. The meeting with Clinton also happened, but it didn't include, his calendar didn't include the meeting, and somebody had to file a FOIA. They tried to hide it. They finally had to release the calendar. And it shows that he has met with Nancy Pelosi.
Oh my God. The head of this, one of the people in the Security and Exchange Commission has met with Nancy Pelosi.
Also a consultant, former White House official.
Oh my God. He's meeting with former White House officials too? Don't tell me. For lunch? Please tell me they went to Kramer Books. It's delicious.
And they've updated, but they won't say what these things were. The worst one that I can see so far is Soros.
Yes, it is. It's terrible. An atheist Hungarian Jew. Have you ever seen one of those eat? It's horrifying.
Hey, why is he trying to hide all of these things?
Well, it wasn't a professional thing. It was a private meeting, is the idea, that he changed this to his own personal calendar. And then he was like, yeah, my personal calendar is not part of my work. These are friends. I work in the fucking government. Like, again, why is Glenn trying to hide the fact that he doesn't know the name of the techs who were in the other room at all? And he often forgets Stu's name. Why is he having all references to that scrubbed? That he just doesn't give a fuck about the staff there and wouldn't hang out with them if they try to set him on fire.
Second, the Soros thing, on his personal calendar, it says regarding upcoming Wall Street Journal op-ed. So that op-ed, Soros blasted BlackRock for launching investment products for Chinese customers while he said, but by the way, this ESG thing is absolutely great. Then in the op-ed, he said Congress should pass legislation and give the already powerful SEC more regulatory authority.
Oh my God. He met from somebody with the SEC, and he suggested that they deserve more power. And please tell me that this meeting happened at the Bohemian Grove.
The SEC is the one that is gunking up the works on just about anything.
Stu's name isn't even Stu, it's Steve. But Mike, I would not doubt it for a second. Jesus Christ. Is this why he has to have a fucking chalkboard? I can't follow any of this shit.
The energy policies, all of this coming from the SEC, banking, they are all powerful as it is.
No, they are not.
Did they meet, make some sort of deal?
As a matter of fact, the SEC has extreme limits on its charter.
And the payoff was Soros writing the op-ed demanding that we have even more regulation.
Who gives a shit if he writes an op-ed? What is that? What do you think that is? A fucking piece of legislation? Who cares? Hold on. Should we take a look at it? Hold on. Let's see. Soros op-ed, Street Journal, SEC. BlackRock's China blunder, September 6th, 2021. Whoops. Oh, okay. Fuck you. Registered. Okay, hold on. Hold on. Son of a dog doodle. No, I don't want an update. No, I do not. Okay. There we go. All right. Save that. Yes. Okay. Here we go. Just put it. Oh, quit it. Next. Hold on. Okay, continue to... Okay, here we go. So this is the article he's talking about. Get out of here. Okay. BlackRock's China blunder is the name... Blunder is the name of this Wall Street Journal opinion piece here. Pouring billions into the country now is a bad investment and imperils U.S. national security. Now, for the fucking record... A, that is true. B, Glenn Beck would agree. This is why Glenn Beck is having a hard time with this fucking thing. Assuming this is the one he's talking about. BlackRock, the world's largest asset manager, has begun a major initiative in China. On August 30th, it launched a set of mutual funds and other investment products for Chinese consumers. New York-based firm is the first foreign-owned company allowed to do so. The launch came just weeks after BlackRock recommended that investors triple their allocations in Chinese assets. This will push billions of dollars into China. The Chinese market represents a significant opportunity to help meet the long-term goals of investors in China and internationally, said Larry Fink, the aptly named Larry Fink. Yeah, it's a terrible idea. Do you think, I mean, we haven't seen the other article, but holy shit. Do you think Glenn Beck is going to show that article, the title even? Of course not. You know why? Because his viewers would agree. Their fucking heads would explode. Yes, that was a dragon with $ skewers. It was one of those... It's not skewers. They're, you know how the dragon in the dragon parade is carried on a stick and you make it dance? They're making it dance with $. That's the artwork. Doesn't matter. Soros didn't doodle that on a napkin. Doesn't matter.
Another story that is...
It just skipped right past it. Skips right fucking past it. Can I just say, like, Glenn Beck, fuck you. Holy shit. Like this, I mean, this is supposed to be part of a whole, the Keith Ablow laptop was found inside a fucking Gordian knot, man. It was wrapped up in an enigma. It's all part of this whole thing. It's the Cubans, man. They found their way into Louisiana and they're working with the mob. And that's how they were in Dealey Plaza on the fucking grassy knoll. He's tying all this shit together and just running by these things that, like, they only work. This is an essential to Glenn Beck's grift. Is they only work if you don't pay attention to any of the details. And this one alone is a prime fucking example of what an asshat Glenn Beck is. This is fucking embarrassing. There is, not only is this inarguable, I would say, to everyone except people who work at BlackRock, I suppose. And it's anti-Larry Fink, it's anti-BlackRock, it's anti-China, like, as far as an investment vehicle. It's right on the money, no pun intended. But Glenn would totally be in line with this. If anybody, like, if he didn't know who had written it, he would be quoting this to Stu and doing his little eyebrow raise, where he's like, huh? Eh? Huh? You piece of shit, you got, huh? You don't know this, do you sucker, you? Huh? And you put them up, you. I'll give it to you good sucko right there, buddy. Sorry, sometimes I fall into old Lenny Bruce bits. Yeah, you're a smart guy. Huh? I give you about that 1-2, huh? So, yeah. Like, literally, pouring billions of dollars into China now is a tragic mistake. Duh. Like, fucking, are you kidding me? Of course it is. There is nothing about this entire story other than the fact that George Soros wrote it that Glenn Beck finds objectionable. And he wants you to just, Soros wrote an op-ed on behalf of the SEC that they should be able to control these things, blah, blah, blah. And by the way, control foreign investments, by the way. Of course they should. They have limits on who can invest here and who can, American companies, especially investing in sanctioned countries, of which China is one.
Odd, the Sam Bankman-Fried.
Oh my God. So this is going to be a big story too. Hold on. Let's see. Elon Musk says... Yeah, where is it? Let's see. Tom Fenton writes this thing right here. While the Biden gang has been harassing and threatening Elon Musk and his companies, one of the worst scams in modern finance has been perpetuated under their nose by a regular White House Hill visitor and the second biggest Democratic donor. SBF was a major Dem donor, so no investigation. By the way, the reason SBF was a huge Dem donor was the Republicans were already on board with what Sam Bankman-Fried wanted to do. They're already on the fucking crypto bandwagon at this point when all this shit went down. Democrats weren't. And so he was spreading money all over D.C., trying like, hey, I'm a good guy. Sitting on panels, talking about there's got to be a way to make mining crypto more environmentally conscious and bullshit like that, while being this kind of hipster king of crypto. And nobody understood it. So you got a lot of old farts and, quite frankly, a lot of young farts in DC and New York particularly, going, wow, this whole crypto thing looks great. And the same people are like, gold is real money. We're like, you should invest in crypto. The same fucking people. That the idea was that Elon Musk was saying, because he's a Dem he was a Dem donor, they're not going to go after him. They just arrested him. So, by the way, in the Bahamas, he's looking at like 125 years. They seem to be confusing. There you go. The socially sanctioned arrogance of SBF. Sam Bankman-Fried is what happens when nobody looks under the hood. Here you go. Let's see. There you go. This is New York Times. Arrested in the Bahamas. So I guess not. And then the next follow-up was he's going to get Epsteined. Well, he's not going to get Epsteined by fucking Democrats. He's going to be,
He's finally been arrested.
Right, he has, because it's the law, fucko. You don't get around this just because you're donating. That might be shocking to people like Glenn and, who's still a Trump sycophant.
And everybody's like, oh, yay, he's been arrested. He was arrested in the Bahamas. Marks the beginning of a new chapter in the FTX saga. Really?
Really? Really? Really? Really? So you think, don't you? That was 1 + 1 + 2 + 1. Not 1 + 2 + 1 was 1, but 1 + 1 + 2 + 1.
So they confirmed the charges against Bankman-Fried to include wire fraud conspiracy, securities fraud conspiracy, and money laundering.
Did they just repeat all those words, or did you just not know how to read the fucking sentence?
Wow. So now they're just trying to get him out of the Bahamas to the Southern District of New York. Oh, well, if the SEC and the federal government are now getting him to the Southern District of New York, well, we can count on that just being a done deal. Now, let me just point out in a very...
First of all, of course it's going to be in the Southern District of New York because that's where a large part of these financial transfers went through, you fucking tool.
Unfortunate development. Today was the day that he was supposed to testify publicly under oath to Congress.
He still can while he's on, out on bond. He's offered up $250,000 with an ankle monitor. Don't think it's going to happen, but good luck.
And the Democrats are very upset that they didn't have a chance to question him. They're very, very upset. We wanted to question him, but now SEC gets involved. SEC, that's the guy who was just talking about the George Soros? Huh.
Jesus Christ. You can't even buy Bitcoin in fucking China. All cryptos are outlawed there. The fuck are you talking about? BlackRock's investment in China over infrastructure payments had nothing to none of this ties together. None of it. What the living shit is he talking about? Holy God. It's kind of hilarious. It's very Clouseau. It's getting a very, yes, the man found in the elevator shaft was somehow related to the fellow who was driving at the time, who came across and entered the airplane, but no one noticed that the man with the flowers was standing there the entire time. Now, where was I? Someone's dead, right?
Anyway, the SEC gets involved, and now he's under arrest, and so he can no longer testify.
What the fuck are you talking about? He's going to testify. Everybody's going to testify against him. He's going to roll on the other people in his company, or they're going to roll on him, dummy.
Publicly, in front of Congress, that's weird.
I should have stayed in bed. I'm still a little sick, and I should have just napped through this. I could have just played this, and it's so self-evidently dumb that you guys would have been able to spot every aspect of this. You're smart. You're keen. You're adorable. You have a wry sense of humor. You look great with your hair pulled back, too.
Isn't it? Twitter.
Isn't it? Jesus Christ. This is the stupidest fucking argument. And what does this have? Please tell me Sam Bankman-Fried went to Keith Ablow for Adderall. Please tell me. By the way, Sam Bankman-Fried was using yeah. Causes risk. Okay. Where is it? Concise. Okay. Psychopharmacology of the FTX crash. Okay, so let's see. Yeah, so you know how a lot of people, and Trump included, they use Adderall, and again, which can make you racist, or more racist, I suppose, or bigoted in general, depending, because it creates hyperfocus. If you have a focus problem and you can't stay focused, these drugs will help you focus normally. If you don't have a focus problem and you just want to use them to hyper narrow your focus so that you can use them as a brain wonder drug, it will also exclude things that you should be factoring into your thinking all the time. That's what the fucking drugs are for. But if you have ADHD, it'll bring you back into the normal spectrum. If you're already in the normal spectrum, it hyper narrows you and makes you a bigot. So it's one of the dangers that comes from this. Okay, so and a lot of times, by the way, they don't work for very long. So SBF was on this one drug, MSAM, which you can see. Yeah, here's a There's a picture of it. Hold on a second. See if I can bring this up. See this right here? M-SAM is like a focus drug, and you wear it as a patch. Yeah, so it's okay. M-SAM is a brand of selegiline, a medication used since the 60s to treat Parkinson's disease. Is a MAOB inhibitor. It's an enzyme that breaks down dopamine. If you inhibit it, you get more dopamine. So in a very broad sense, it gives you more dopamine. So what it does, it makes you crave work. Essentially, you put this patch on, and you get a jolt of energy, of dopamine from whatever you're doing. So if it keeps you interested and focused on whatever the task at hand is, because you get pleasure out of it. It hijacks your pleasure centers in your brain, right? Okay. So everybody wants magic bullets. Drugs that increase dopamine is one of these ways, but not any of the others. Treat attention problems without causing hallucinations. Cure tremors without causing hypersexuality. But it's tough. There are dozens of dopamine-based drugs, and all of them succeed in several ways and fail in others. Adderall mostly helps attention, but sometimes causes a little paranoia on the side. And by the way, that paranoia is not just a random attachment. The paranoia that comes from those kind of things is that you're so hyper-focused, there must be something past this. And your brain is kind of like lasering in on this one particular zone that it's part of your brain is going, aren't there other things to consider here? And your brain's going, no. And another part of your brain goes, I think there are. And it sounds bad. Anything that's not what we're focusing on is considered bad. So it must be terrible. That's where the paranoia comes from. Antipsychotics mostly prevent hallucinations and delusions, but also cause anhedonia. If a good doctor carefully chooses the right drug and dose, you mostly get what you want. Otherwise, choose 2d4 random side effects from the appropriate side of the table. Selegiline is even less magical bullet than usual. People call it an antidepressant, anti-Parkinsonian, and stimulant, and all of those descriptions are accurate. And it does one more unrelated thing. It disables a key digestive enzyme that prevents foods from killing you. For boring technical reasons, some pharma companies thought this might not happen if you delivered Selegiline through a patch on the skin. For other boring technical reasons, the FDA disagreed and said people on the Selegiline patch still shouldn't eat those foods. You can't eat meat, for example. And where is it? Yeah, enzyme, Okay, so a lot of these have this kind of shit on them. This is the drug he was on. See if this looks familiar. These are the contraindications. Impulse control disorders. Dopaminergic agents used for Parkinson's disease have been associated with compulsive behaviors such and or loss of impulse control. Dude lived in a panerotic love nest in the Bahamas with a bunch of other people and was basically gambling with everybody who was investing in in Coinbase and FTX with their money. He was shuffling it all over the fucking place, thinking he'll never get caught, which is manifested as pathological gambling, libido increase, hypersexuality, uncontrolled spending of money, binge eating, and or other intense urges. Causality has not been established, and controversy exists as to whether this phenomenon is related to the underlying disease or prior behaviors, addictions, or drug therapy. So, this motherfucker, MBS, what is it? Yeah. SBF, yeah. Yeah, there it is. It's the same. Here you go. This is the same one they were holding up. Autism Capital, somebody put in this. Extra confirmed. The stimulant patch the SAM preferred was M-SAM, a drug normally used to treat depression or Parkinson's, but used off-label for its alertness and focus benefits. A lot of these dudes are using off-market nootropics to try and give them some sort of cutting-edge, tech king powers. And it's fucking garbage because of all the secondary contraindications. One of which, of course, in this case was turning you into a nutcase gambler who will gamble away other people's life savings.
Apparently shadow banned political candidates under the old ownership. Musk came out yesterday afternoon with, what was it, number 5? Twitter number 5.
Twitter files, yep.
Yeah. Where
a little bit of Twitter on my side. Sorry. Twitter number 5. It's just Rocky Mountain Mike, have at it. And this has been like dud after fucking dud.
They, argued back and forth about whether they should get rid of Trump. They finally came down to the idea that, yes, Trump is probably a Nazi. He's akin to Hitler.
Well, he did, allegedly, according to his ex-wife, who he buried on a fucking golf course, would keep Mein Kampf on his nightstand.
And we have to take action. There's also...
Which, by the way, I don't believe he ever read Mein Kampf, but I think he is the kind of person who would put it on his nightstand just to scare other people like a fucking prop.
One of the guys who was the head of the, the ethics committee or whatever.
Whatever.
Looks like he might be a groomer. Might be somebody. I mean, they're hiding now his dissertation from college, but it was all about kids should have access to sex.
Oh, he's talking about Yoel Roth from Twitter, not somebody from Congress. I was like, who's on the ethics committee?
Toys, and kids should have access to their own bodies, and maybe we should start looking at kids as sexual beings. Oh, he was the guy. Huh. And then
No single person knocked Trump off of Twitter. They're trying to lay it at this guy Yoel Roth's feet, but there was a huge back and forth with everybody about this.
Wait, they were letting child porn through in Twitter. That's weird.
Were they, though? I mean, I didn't see any, but I wasn't looking for it. Glenn, would you like to point some out?
Program.
The Glenn Beck program. The dumbest series of arguments you'll ever hear. Arguments so stupid, you'll make the Devin Nunes face. Fuck. God damn, that was stupid. Hi, you're watching Hal Sparks Megaworldwide. That's Glenn Beck's... that's a prime example, according to Glenn Beck. Again, I did not pick that clip. They posted that clip in its entirety. And it was supposed to deal with multiple elements of these stories and fuse them all together so we could understand them better. Jesus Christ. Oh, yes, we saw Gut Instinct. We saw the Trump superhero thing. Yeah, that's... Excuse me. I'll show it to you. It's on his... Where is it? There it is. This is what you're talking about.
America needs a superhero.
Does he sound like he's saying soup hero? Superhero. Fucker just bought like generic.
America needs a superhero.
Superhero. Yeah, it's just fucking embarrassing. That, like, after all this, like, they can't make fun of the Dark Brandon shit anymore. Just a hilarious bunch of... Anyways, this is, tomorrow he's supposed to make an announcement. We'll check it out. This is just fucking goofy. Speaking of fucking goofy, ladies and gentlemen, if you need a good laugh and you've been feeling a little under the weather, few things can bring a tickle to your throat that will compete with a cough. Like the most miserable man on the internet, Greg Kelly. I give you Greg Kelly a clip he posted, or they posted on his behalf. They're all corrupt leaders. That's it. Just Greg Kelly. They're all corrupt leaders. This is the only answer. Why would they be against Donald John Trump if they weren't all corrupt? It couldn't be evidence. It couldn't be his misuse of classified documents. It couldn't be his grotesque behavior while president and before and after. It couldn't be any of those things. It must be corruption at the female body inspector office.
In the country, and it's just you and me. The corruption, the deception, the game playing from the FBI. Yep, they got Joe Biden elected, but they destroyed themselves in the process. I do believe. And now
Oh, well, if you believe it, then there you go. So the FBI doesn't work anymore. It's totally defunct. Like, if you'll notice, nobody's coming and going from the office. They all just, what few people, had windows, they jumped out of them, and then everybody else just left through the sewers, I think.
FBI? I don't think so. How about DNC, as in Democrat National Committee?
Democratic. There is an IC on the end of it. As in, I see what you tried to do there.
Now, we all grew up, probably had an instinctive appreciation and admiration for the FBI because we
Yeah, still do. My uncle was in the FBI.
learned in school they were the good guys. I actually thought about
No, actually didn't at all. They've gotten a lot fucking better. But when I grew up, most of the news you heard about the FBI predated their work with, serial killers and stopping major terrorist plots, and really centered around J. Edgar Hoover tormenting civil rights leaders.
joining the FBI right around the time I was supposed to get out of the Marine Corps. But something told me, no, this is not the place for you. And now,
Let me guess. It was the hiring agent. Something told me, no, the FBI isn't the place for you. It was someone at the FBI actually who refused to hire me. But I got the signal he was laying down.
oh boy, what a good decision I made. That laptop.
Yes, so much better that you. Yes, and for America, that you're not in the FBI and you're out here in. Where the fuck is Newsmax's studio? Texas?
Oh, this is just one of their dirty tricks. How they concealed it.
Ooh, oh, look. Anybody think that's the actual laptop? No, of course it isn't. Also, I guess just a picture of it. It's fine. This is and this is one of the dirtier pictures.
How they lied about it. How they played all these games.
Mac laptops don't come with any, games installed. They have chess, which I think is, better. But I always thought it should come with, for old time's sake, it should have Minesweeper, chess, and solitaire, just, for flights.
And what they did to Rudy Giuliani. Do you know
Oh, yes. They made him look like an asshole. The FBI tricked him. They hacked the GPS and sent him to Four Seasons Total Landscaping.
Giuliani was spied on by the FBI.
Oh my God. It's almost as if he was engaged in criminal behavior.
Now, the New York Times is never going to tell us this, all right? But
No, of course not. The New York Times isn't going to tell you that because it isn't true, but okay.
we got it. We've been able to
You got it.
connect the dots, and
All right. Did you have Glenn Beck help you, I hope?
based on what Rudy Giuliani has said and what the New York Post is reporting.
Oh, wait. If Giuliani said it and the New York Post? Wait a minute. Hold on. New York Post. I think it's you mean hold on. This New York Post? The New York Post. Okay, yeah, this one. Don, who couldn't build a wall, had a great fall. Can all the GOP's men put the party back together again? Trumpty Dumpty. That was months ago.
The FBI was spying on Trump's then lawyer, Rudy Giuliani's online cloud under the pretext of an investigation into alleged foreign agent registration violations.
Which they got a warrant for, I presume?
A probe which was conveniently dropped this year. It was on Rudy Giuliani's online cloud. He was talking about the laptop. He had it. It was sent to him. More on.
No, it wasn't. And no, he didn't. Why would it be on the online cloud? What are you talking
that
about?
in a little bit. This
But please, no, go on about it right fucking now.
really shouldn't
Trade me right fucking now and hang up.
surprise anybody, though, about the FBI. Let's take a look. Those good feelings we have, it's really based on movies and TV shows. I mean, look at some of these.
Fuck you.
directors, J. Edgar Hoover. I mean, right? Him? But these more recent characters. Let's start with Robert Mueller. Robert Mueller, and this has been airbrushed away history, was an incompetent director of the FBI. He could not install a
and you were turned away?
Computer system that they desperately needed. Totally screwed the whole thing up. A multi-billion-dollar debacle.
Yeah, he apparently they gave him the job because he had a DeVry degree, and he was like under the desk for like 2 hours, and he's like, he didn't even know Cat 6 versus Cat 5. Like, he was totally bullshitting. Dude asked for a micro USB cable. Like, what the fuck?
And of course, he knew that there was no collusion between Trump and Russia, but he kept that probe going and going.
All right, again, assertions without evidence, gibberish, blah, blah, blah.
And going. And also, on his watch, you know what they did? They harassed Dr. Stephen Hatfield. Remember this story? The alleged anthrax mailer, an innocent man hounded by the FBI. And Stephen Hatfield said the FBI would do anything to make themselves look good. An innocent man. What else? More recently, Jim Comey.
All right. Like, local FBI office going after this dude because they thought he was the... Oh, God.
Make themselves by the FBI. And Stephen Hatfield said the FBI...
Hold on one second. If I may. Let's see. There you go, 2008. Scientist is paid millions by U.S. in anthrax suit. The Justice Department announced Friday that it would pay $4.6 million to settle a lawsuit filed by Stephen J. Hatfield, a former Army biodefense researcher intensely investigated as a person of interest in the deadly anthrax letters of 2001. The settlement consisted of $2.825 million in cash and an annuity paying. I have an FBI annuity, but I need cash now. Called Dr. Hatfield, ANTHRAX. All right, $150,000 a year for 20 years. Bringing to an end a 5-year legal battle that recently threatened a reporter with large fines for declining to name sources. She said she did not recall. Dr. Hatfield, who worked at the Army's laboratory at Fort Detrick in the late 1990s, was the subject of a flood of news media coverage beginning in mid-2002 after television cameras showed Federal Bureau of Investigation agents in biohazard searching his apartment near the Army base. He was later named a person of interest. In the news conference, he tearfully denied that he had anything to do with the anthrax letters and said irresponsible news media coverage caused blah, 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 blah. The lawsuit filed in 2003 accused FBI agents and Justice Department officials involved in the anthrax mailings of leaking information about him to the news media in violation of the Privacy Act. In order to prove their case, his lawyers took depositions of key FBI investigators, senior officials, and a number of reporters who had covered the investigation. Mark Granis, a lawyer for Dr. Hatfield, said his client was pleased with the settlement. Let's see. Justice Department Brian said to go with the government, but decided settlement was in the best interest of the United States. They admitted no liability. Well, whatever. Government remains resolute in investigating the anthrax attacks, which killed 5 individuals and sickened others after lethal anthrax powder was sent to the United States through the United States mail. One of the largest, most complex investigations, yada, yada. Solving the case is top priority of the FBI and the family members of the victims who were killed. Rush Holt, a New Jersey Democrat whose district was the site of the postal box believed to have been used for the attacks, said he would press Robert S. Mueller III, director of the FBI, for more answers about the status of the case. As today's settlement announcement confirms, this case was botched from the very beginning, Mr. Holt said. This is, so, by the way, Greg Kelly finds himself on the side of the Democrats in this argument. The FBI did a poor job of collecting evidence and then inappropriately focused on one individual as a suspect for too long, developing an erroneous theory of the case that has led to this very expensive dead end. Hold on one second. Let's see. One second. That's the wrong one. Here's the actual text of the letters that were sent. You cannot stop us. We have this anthrax. You die now. Are you afraid? Death to America. Death to Israel. Allah is great. Never forget. Read the bumper stickers and t-shirts of September 11th, 2001. Is there more of these? Hold on. Scroll down. Anthrax about his thing. Nope. That's the end of that one. This is just us looking it up. Okay. Dude got millions.
FBI would do anything to make themselves look good and innocent.
Yeah, they were trying to solve this, and they were afraid somebody was sending a bioweapon through the fucking mail.
Man. What else? More recently, Jim Comey. Jim Comey was a total egomaniac, I guess remains so today. Remember that press conference in the middle of 2016? He came out and decided, I'm calling the shots here. We're not charging Hillary Clinton. The FBI doesn't charge or not charge anybody. They investigate stuff. That's up to the Department of Justice.
Dude, if it hadn't been for Comey making his announcement about the Hillary Clinton email scandal later in the year, around whatever it was, September, October, Trump would have lost.
This guy is crazy. He also said, by the way, Trump's election nauseated him. He said that.
Yeah, well, that's pretty reasonable. Even the worst person has their human moments.
Publicly in an open hearing. Bad guy and Chris.
Bad dude.
Wray, no better. Chris.
No better. Terrible people. Well, this guy was picked by Trump personally, so it gets worse.
Wray gets there with all kinds of fanfare. And like all these other FBI directors, when they're confirmed and they desperately want the job, they'll say anything to get it. Oh, we'll be sure, cooperative. Yeah, call me anytime. Oh, absolutely. I'm at your service.
The Bureau has never grown complacent and continues to work tirelessly every day to protect all Americans. I think the role of this committee is special with respect to the FBI, and I would do everything I could to ensure that we're being appropriately responsive and prompt in dealing with all the members of the Senate, but obviously especially this committee. I would do everything in my power to try to ensure that the FBI is being not just as responsive as possible, but as prompt as possible in responding to appropriate oversight requests. Absolutely. My experience in trying to find solutions is that it's more productive for people to work together than to be pointing fingers, blaming each other. And that's the approach I've tried to take.
Wait a minute. Are we sure that Trump appointed this dude?
To almost every problem I've tackled, and that's the approach I would want to take here in working with this committee.
Well, that's beautiful, but that's the kind of junk you say in a job interview. He wasn't the FBI director yet, and he needed Senate confirmation. He gets the job, he's drunk with power, and when he testifies, he cuts things short because he's got to go on vacation. I can't believe this actually happened. He ought to lose his job over this. Take a look.
Is there any reason we couldn't accommodate them for 21 minutes or whatever Democrats want second rounds to?
Yeah, Senator, I had a flight that I'm supposed to be hightailing it to out of here, and I had understood that we were going to be done at 1:30, so that's how we ended up where we are.
Wow. What
at like 3 o'clock in the afternoon.
I'm at your beck and call anytime. We got to work together.
Call him when he's on the fucking plane, dummy.
He was leaving for vacation on an FBI plane, but he deceived the members. He did it.
He did it? He wasn't hightailing it?
To Chuck Grassley, who cut him a lot of slack. Take a look.
You don't know. Getting out of here. Well, I'm going to be there, so I hope they'll be able to see you. So you got other business? Yeah. Okay.
Thank you.
You got other business? It was a vacation in the Adirondack Mountains in upstate New York. He was lying to Senator Grassley. That's
or he wasn't lying. The public thought he was on vacation, and he was actually doing some sort of business that they were drawing attention away from or towards. That's also the possibility. But Chuck Grassley was denied a fifth question. I never got to ask him the whole thing about using candy corn as buck teeth.
That's not business. That's not business. And most egregiously, I think,
I don't know, maybe he pays his family to show up to that.
He couldn't be straight with the American people about January 6th.
Oh, dear God. Did he try to tell us it wasn't between the 4th and the 5th, or the after the 4th and the 5th?
So, do you remember the scene, the surveillance footage that we've seen by now? Protesters, rioters, whatever you want to call them, coming in.
Evildoers, maggots.
Well, do you know that there's a real chance that FBI agents or FBI informants were already in the Capitol?
Okay, first of all, two totally different things, but notice the conflation there. FBI agents or FBI informants. Now, some of the people who were there that day became FBI informants because they realized they were involved in something that was going far beyond a protest. So they called the FBI. That's an informant. That doesn't mean they're paid. That doesn't mean that they're being funded, their rent's being paid by the FBI, none of that shit.
Dressed as Trump supporters?
No, they were Trump supporters who went, okay, I came here to yell, but they're beating cops.
We can't get a straight answer out of the FBI.
No, you've gotten straight answers. You just don't believe them.
Director, this should be a pretty easy one to answer, don't you think?
Yeah, I agree. I think he should be able to just say, fuck you.
Did the FBI have confidential human sources embedded within the January 6th protesters on January 6th of 2021?
Well, Congressman, as I'm sure you can appreciate, I have to be very careful about what I can say about when.
Even now, because that's what you told us 2 years ago.
May I finish? About when we do and do not, and where we have and have not used confidential human sources. But to the extent that there's a suggestion, for example, that the FBI's confidential human sources or FBI employees in some way instigated or orchestrated January 6th, that's categorically false.
Did you have confidential human sources dressed as Trump supporters inside the Capitol on January the 6th prior to the doors being open?
Again, I had to be very careful.
It should be a no. Can you not tell the Americans?
No, because they didn't dress the people. Those people dressed that way. That's what a confidential human informant, like a human source, is actually part of it. They're not undercover agents. That's the point. Also, again, and even if they're there and they're like, these fuckers are going this way, you might want to know about it. Why wouldn't the FBI or the Secret Service or whatever, if there was a giant gathering at the Capitol that could lead to violence, why wouldn't they have people in plain clothes around the same way that you would have like anti-shoplifting people there?
American people, no. We did
in a store, if people were walking around, like you have just people dressed as customers.
Not have confidential human sources dressed as Trump supporters positioned inside the Capitol.
Gentleman's time has expired.
You should not read anything into my decision not to share information.
Director Wray,
confidential human
gentleman's
sources.
time has expired.
I'm reading information into that, yes.
You think? Of course you are. You're wearing a tie made out of Trump's foreskin.
That there were confidential sources dressed as Trump supporters inside the Capitol. Look at these guys. Look at these directors. Now, honestly, how many?
Yes, they all share prominent proboscis. I don't know who cares?
How many FBI agents do you know? Rank and file FBI agents. These guys.
8.
The reputation of that bureau is established by them because most people don't come into contact with the FBI. And as far as junior officers, we have not been impressed lately, have we? There's Andrew.
Excuse you?
McCabe, deputy director. Bad guy all around, of course.
Yeah, of course. He's on MSNBC. Clearly evil.
Peter Strzok, who hates the smell of Trump supporters.
Well, I mean, do they all wear the Trump cologne? I guess they would have to, don't they? 17. Smells like Q.
All right. So these guys schemed against Donald Trump, certainly in 2016. You remember Russia.
If they did, he got fucking elected.
Russia, right? It was Russia that got Hillary Clinton elected. They couldn't stomach that Donald Trump beat her fair and square.
Russia got Hillary Clinton elected? And then the U.S. overturned it? What?
And they leaked and they lied, and they deceived, and they wasted our time and money.
And that's your job, Greg.
Breaking news in the Russia investigation dominates the program tonight and reaches directly into the president's inner circle.
We are covering the breaking news that Bob Mueller, the special counsel investigating ties between Donald Trump's campaign and Russia.
We've got breaking news on MSNBC. The first indictments in the Robert Mueller investigation.
Oh, they just cut it right the fuck off. That's it. They just blew. Whoever edited this just did that. They just went, Greg's got nothing. They just bailed on their own show. Holy shit. By the way, I'm holding it together pretty well. I'm a little lightheaded, a little tired, but I'm all right. I'm not going to sit down. I think I can make it for another 20 minutes. Can you hang around? Do you like what you're saying? Give me a thumbs up. Let me know. Now, there's so much to cover. Can I just, in deference to our dear friend Philip Ittner, very seldom does somebody sum up an entire stupid argument in a thumbnail the way Jimmy Dore does. That, ladies and gentlemen, if I may, is Jimmy Dore's one of his most recent thumbnails. Thanks, Diagram. I'm holding it together. I'm eating blueberries and I'm drinking water. And I'm trying to stay hydrated and, but I'm definitely working my way out of this. No push-ups? No? Yeah. So, look at this shit. He just cannot wrap his head around being fucking wrong. He's wrong. He's wrong about all this shit. It's absurd. But speaking of wrong, can we just jump to this? We haven't delved into this level of lunacy. Ladies and gentlemen, Rep. Marjorie Taylor Greene on the laptop from hell. This isn't about Hunter Biden, because it's not his laptop, never was. This is about Joe Blow, Joe Mama. This is about Joe. Yeah, it has to be. We're not interested in going after Hunter Biden with stuff that won't result in any criminal charges ever because somebody sprayed diarrhea all over the chain of evidence. No. Hold on one second. And so let's see.
So the New York Post, we got about 4 minutes. Talk about the Oversight Committee.
Yeah, you only got 4 minutes, and it's getting a lower. It's not even getting the top line anymore.
About the Hunter Biden situation on the finance.
Oh, the situation.
You've got SBF. He got arrested last night. He was supposed to get a grilling by Republicans.
He was gonna. Yes, they were gonna have weenies. It was a weenie roast
on the House Finance Committee today because he's a money laundering operation for the Democrats.
No, he isn't. Hold on, stupid. Let's see. Mm-hmm. 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 Give me 1 second. I'm looking something up. Gotta go up here to the news part of it. 1 second. Mm-hmm. Here's what we know about Sam Bankman-Fried's political donation. Sam Bankman-Fried falsely reported political contributions that were actually being sourced from Alameda Research, which is the company that shit the bed and he was 90% owner of. And he was like, I didn't even know things were that bad over there. It's just the stupidest shit. Dude was high as a fucking kite. Campaign finance allegations come a day after he was arrested. As a huge political donor, according to public records, contributed more than $70 million to election campaigns in 18 months. Let's see, mostly to Democrats and liberal-leaning groups, making him the second overall top donor to Democrats, only behind George Soros. Also, Also donated a significant amount to fundraising committees and super PACs affiliated with both parties. The biggest single recipient was Protect Our Future, a Democratic-aligned super PAC that claims it was designed to help candidates who will be champions of pandemic prevention. The group received $27 million from Bankman-Fried, supports effective altruism, blah, blah, blah. Okay, just ass-kissing. Bankman-Fried combined $7 million to two main super PACs for Democrats for Congress, contributed individual maximum to $1,500 to more than a dozen members of Congress, including Debbie Stabenow, John Boozman. Again, these are Arkansas Republican. These are all people that he was trying to convince to get on board with crypto. Republicans, again, don't need any convincing. So obviously his money would be weighted their direction. And he's got to look like a well-meaning rich dude. And so you got to give a lot of money that looks like you care about the environment or health or whatever. SBF claims he gave tens of millions in untraceable donations to Republicans. That's interesting. All my Republican donations were dark, he said, referring to political donations that are not publicly disclosed in FEC filings. The reason was not for regulatory reasons. It's because reporters freak the fuck out if you donate to Republicans. They're all super liberal, and I didn't want to have that fight. Adorable.
Of course, the Southern District had him arrested last night in the Bahamas. Just a coincidence.
No, it's not a coincidence where he lives.
Walk through. Do people have the guts, intestinal fortitude to take these investigations where they need to go, ma'am?
Yeah.
Ma'am.
Yes.
Yes, so much so. We're totally going to do this. We're going to clean and jerk this thing.
Absolutely. And we're so excited. And the whole thing here,
oh, she sounds like shit, too.
everybody keeps talking about Hunter. It's really about Joe.
It's really about Joe. We're going to play show and tell. It's right here on this little page. This is really the story. This is what we're all talking about, okay? Gather round, children. This is what... We're not after a young man and addicted to getting rich, doing things he's not qualified for. Some of my favorite people in the world got rich doing things they aren't qualified for. I'm after the president because he's not in my party.
That's what this is all about.
That's what it's all about. I don't call him Joe Biden. I call him the hokey pokey.
Really about Joe. Yeah, Hunter is the target, but Hunter is the one that left his laptop at a repair shop.
No, he didn't.
And left all the evidence there.
No, he didn't.
It's a Russian disinformation campaign, was it not, ma'am?
That's what they say, and the conspiracy theorists. Well, they call us conspiracy theorists, Steve, but they.
Because you were quoting QAnon on your Facebook page up till the time you got elected? Because you are the Q representative in fucking Congress?
I have one going right now, and I saw it. I saw it on Twitter. They think that Rudy Giuliani downloaded evidence on that laptop.
You know who thinks that? John Paul McIsaac, you dumb fuck. Hold on. Remember, I'm never going to be able to find it right now because I'm too tired. But remember the picture that the Washington Post had? Maybe it's on there. Maybe I will. Hold on one second. Yeah, here's how the post. Okay, is there a picture in here? Come here, you. The drive is a mess, but the lack of what experts call a clean chain of custody undermined Greene and Williams' ability to determine the authenticity of most of the drive's contents. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Any asshole can look at a picture and go, that picture looks real to me, and go, I think we can verify that these pictures look like real pictures of Hunter Biden. But without metadata, we'll never know for sure, so fuck you. I wanted to say that at the beginning of this, they used to have a picture right here that was at the top of this story that was the laptop. Remember, it said laptop, and it gave the 3 folders? And they've changed the fucking picture. I mean, going through that article was such a joy.
I'm sure they're going to make all kind of, but the forensics that were done by the New York Post and people have done forensic. Even
No, they haven't.
The New York Times and Washington Post came out and checked it out and said it was all legit. So they're going to have
No, they didn't. They didn't, like, none of them said anything even remotely close to it's all legit. It's just fucking goofy. None of it stands up. It's garbage. Fuck off with this nonsense. Not even close. There is no Hunter Biden laptop. Feel free to at me.
tough time selling that.
Yeah, they're going to have a hard, but that's what they have to.
No, they're not. Because all you have to do is go look at what the New York Times, the New York Post, and the Washington Post wrote about the actual fucking files that they got to look at.
That's what they have to say.
100%. They're going to, by the way, David Brock and these guys are going to fight back. But do the Republicans, you pointed to Joe Biden. Is this going to be, are you guys going to be relentless and actually connect the dots? Comer said, hey, we got the bank records, right? That means you can connect the whole family. The whole question is.
No, you can't. Just because you have bank records doesn't mean those bank records show what you want them to show. I got news for you.
Not can we do it? The question is, will we do it? And on all these aspects.
That's what it is. The question is, can we play patty cake or not?
So whether it's the audit at the Pentagon, the southern border, the spending, it's all, is there the intestinal fortitude to break
Yeah. Do you guys have the guts to put together a committee and have to admit that there's no chain of custody on any of this shit and set yourself up for a libelous lawsuit from Hunter Biden?
Kind of the cartel that's been
by disseminating hacked materials that show no evidence of crime just to morally hurt someone.
Up here in the Uniparty and actually get on with it. Is
the Uniparty
going to be more Marjorie Taylor Greene firebrand or Marjorie Taylor Greene deal maker, ma'am?
Well, there's not a deal maker, Steve.
There's not a deal maker. I mean, I realize we're in a democracy, but I like dictatorships. I like dicks and taters. Let me tell you.
There's only
in that order.
One.
The original.
The original. And yeah, I definitely think we do. Now, I don't want to get too far into it because
exactly.
Jamie Comer and the team, everyone,
doing a great job.
They're doing an incredible job.
That means she doesn't understand what they're doing.
I will never get that. I'll never get out there and do that. I can't wait to join them and be a part of it. But
what are you doing here? Why aren't you there? Did they tell you to fuck off?
If I were Joe, I'd be really worried.
Okay.
Why? Oh, I mean, might be worried that you guys are going to drag his son's addiction through the headlines again. That's kind of cruel and gross.
How do people get to you to follow you? Because people now more than ever need to follow Marjorie Taylor Greene. How do they do it?
Yeah, they don't. Give us, what are the best places to look at all these kind of like stupid bullshit wrap up?
My accounts are on Getter, Truth Social, Twitter.
They're everywhere. They're the same things. Just so you know, I'm not the bleach blonde version of Lord Boebert. And I just want to say that every day my voice gets more and more rough. It sounds exactly like what you think I fucking sound like, okay?
Twitter, all the social media accounts. Make sure you find my verified accounts. Rep MT.
Yeah, don't go to the fake ones. They're too hilarious.
PG or real Marjorie Taylor Greene.
And how do you get to you've got a PAC that supports firebrands. How do you
yes,
get to that?
And we were thrilled to do that. SAS PAC, SAS.
SAS PAC? Was ASPAC taken?
SPAC.com, SASPAC.com. Thank you.
Sasquatch.com. I got
They
you.
actually say the reason that you're the de facto speaker is you're outside of Kevin and a couple other people who are
because you just won't shut the fuck up.
Prodigious. This is what MSNBC is saying. You're a prodigious fundraiser. Okay.
Wait, that was the end of it. You're a prodigious fundraiser. Cut. That's the whole thing. That's they posted that 3 minutes, 8 seconds of fucking magic. What more could you want? Ugh. All right. By the way, I've got like a couple minutes left. I'm going to call it early tonight, if that's okay with you guys. And then I'll do my regular show tomorrow, and hopefully I'll be back in better shape by then. Thank you guys for the support. Thanks for all the well wishes as I'm getting over this gunk. But I do need some rest. So
Bye.